Hi, this is Jeremy Pearson, and I'm coming to you with some practical spirituality today. Um, Today, I'm going to be talking about forgiveness, and this is something that I just wrote. I wrote it last night and finished it this morning, and so I thought I would share it with you. So I'm just going to read it. It's called Forgiveness and the Nature of Things. Forgiveness is one of the most misunderstood forms of healing, especially when it comes to abuse, harm, and the behavior of people who hurt us. Most people think forgiveness means excusing what happened, pretending it didn't matter, or acting like the pain wasn't real. But forgiveness is not about excusing the behavior. It's about understanding the nature of living beings, the way we understand the nature of Earth itself. All over this world, the Earth expresses tension and pressure in dramatic ways. Volcanoes erupt, thunderstorms crack open the sky, tornadoes form without warning, hurricanes tear through coastlines, mudslides collapse entire cliffsides, floods rise and swallow the land. Earthquakes shake everything we thought was stable. Wildfires burn through forests, canyons, and neighborhoods. And still, people choose to live there. People build homes on cliffs that might slide. They live on faults that can move at any time. They settle along rivers that flood every single year. They live in regions where fire season comes every year like a second summer. And when you ask some of them why, they smile and they tell you, you don't understand. You haven't lived here. You haven't seen how beautiful it is the rest of the time. To someone on the outside, it seems crazy, but to the person living inside that environment, it makes perfect sense. And here's the important thing. We never blame the mountain for shaking. We never blame the sky for storming. We never blame the ocean for rising. We never blame the fire for burning. Even fire, as terrifying and destructive as it can be, is a natural force. It's also a beautiful, crucial part of many ecosystems. Fire clears what is dead so new life can grow. Certain seeds only open in intense heat. Whole forests depend on cycles of burning and regrowth. Fire can destroy and fire can transform. It all depends on where we are in relationship to it. In the same way, many of our most painful and toxic relationships can become a kind of inner wildfire. They can burn through illusions, expose what is dead or no longer true, and force us to grow in ways we never would have chosen on our own. We can choose to see only the destruction, or we can choose to see the possibility for transformation that comes later. Like those pine cones that only open in the intense heat of a wildfire, some parts of our strength, wisdom, boundaries, and respect only open under that kind of pressure. This doesn't make the fire good, and it doesn't mean we should stay in danger, but it does mean we can let what happened turn us into a truer version of ourselves. We see these eruptions, storms, and fires as part of the nature of the earth, not evidence that the earth is bad. We even understand the people who stay. We don't always agree with them. We might say, I would never live there, but we can understand why they do. And the reasons people stay are not always romantic and poetic. Sometimes it's beauty and wonder, the ocean view, the sound of the river, the way the lights hit the mountain in the morning. Sometimes it's practical. My whole career is here. My family is here. I can't imagine where else I would go. Sometimes it's financial. I can't afford to move. I don't have the resources. Sometimes it's about security. This is the only place I've ever known. I don't feel safe starting over. Sometimes it's pure exhaustion. I just don't have the energy to do anything about it. People stay for positive reasons, neutral reasons, and painful reasons. But they always have their reasons. Yes, it may be true that they could get up and move. There might be other options in theory, but the question is not, could they move? The deeper question is, do I need to judge them for not moving? We can support, we can encourage, we can offer options and compassion. But if a person chooses to stay where they are, that choice is their choice. It belongs to them. I remember when Mount St. Helens erupted when I was a kid. I was in Oregon at the time, and I remember hearing the story of a man who lived on the side of a mountain. He was told to evacuate again and again, and he wouldn't do it. He lived there for so many years. His wife was buried there. It was the place he loved, and he did not want to be elsewhere. So he stayed. He sat on his chair and waited, and when the mountain finally let go, he went with it. Most of us hear that story and think, that's crazy. Why didn't he leave? Why did he stay? And yet, to him, staying made more sense than starting over anywhere else. The same truth applies to human beings, even those who behave in harmful ways. Human beings have earthquakes, they have storms, they have wildfires inside them, they have pressure systems inside them from trauma, fear, conditioning, insecurity, unhealed wounds, and generational pain. And sometimes those pressure systems express themselves in ways that are destructive or abusive. That does not make it okay. It does not make it safe. It does not mean you stay there or expose yourself to danger. But forgiveness, real forgiveness, is not about declaring the earthquake good or the fire harmless. It's about finally understanding that the earthquake is not personal. The wildfire inside someone else is not personal. It's the expression of pressure and pain inside a system that doesn't know how else to release. Forgiveness means this is the nature of this person's inner climate, and I no longer need to carry the storm inside me. From the outside, we often judge the person who stayed in an abusive relationship. Outsiders will think, why didn't they leave? Why didn't they run? But the people inside the relationship often say the same thing people say about the cliffside home or the riverbed cottage. You don't understand what it feels like the rest of the time. People stay for their own reasons: trauma bonds, hope, fear, history, loyalty, survival patterns, the longing for love, the fear for the unknown, or simply not knowing another way. People behave badly for their own reasons too. None of those reasons excuse the behavior, but they reveal the complexity of the human storm and the human fire. Forgiveness does not mean approving. Forgiveness means understanding. Forgiveness means releasing judgment. Forgiveness means saying, the world is strange. People are complicated. Nature expresses itself in ways we don't always understand, and I don't need to carry bitterness or hatred in my body anymore. Just because I don't want to live on the edge of a cliff where my house might fall into the ocean at any moment doesn't mean I have to judge the person who stands on their balcony each evening and watches the sun melt into the Pacific Ocean. Just because I don't want to live by a riverbed that floods every year doesn't mean I have to judge the person who falls asleep every night to the sound of water moving gently beneath their window. Who am I to judge where someone else chooses to live, in geography or in their emotional world? Forgiveness is not about saying the storm was harmless or the fire didn't burn. It's about refusing to let the storm of the fire define who you become. It's choosing compassion over bitterness, clarity over judgment, understanding over resentment, freedom over carrying someone else's damage in your own heart. Forgiveness is not for them. Forgiveness is for you.